Yo, 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 yo. Welcome into a little Sports 56 happy hour. I'm your buddy Johnny Radio. It's a little thirsty Thursday. And we slammed, we packed, we busy, and I'm fired up because we're going to be talking all kinds of goodness today. It is a very, very, very loaded show because, of course, we're going to talk a little Ole Miss Rebels today at 12 o'clock with Evie Van Pelt. They took care of business. I don't know if you would say that they took care of business. They got a win last night. A very much needed dub. Very, very important for the Ole Miss Rebels. Also important for, of course, your Memphis Tigers. But the thing about it is it's been just it's not even 2 full seasons under Chris Beard. And he's completely turned around a basketball program that was basically in the gutter, trash, not very good, going nowhere. And now, you won't believe this, but they're just having their best SEC record in 6 years. 8-4 right now in the Southeastern Conference. 19-6 on the season. Did get another road win last night again, and they did survive because they thought they shot 32 free throws last night. South Carolina shot 15. They dodged a bullet. They also dodged, a little run there in the second half. Got to say again, Dia was excellent down the stretch. Davis was clutch. Big, big win for the Rebels. We are going to talk Ole Miss with Evie Van Pelt at 12 o'clock from the Rebel Walk. Plus, we'll ask some questions about Jackson Dart, a few other players. Baseball is getting ready they're about to tee it up. We got the first game on Friday for the Ole Miss Rebels. Is that correct? The first game is Friday, right? Uh-oh, you're not in. You're not even talking.
Okay, yeah. Sorry, I was talking to Dave, and so behind the scenes, nobody can hear when I'm talking to Dave. Rising Stars is Friday. They're also doing a tournament. The winner of that tournament gets a spot into Sunday's tournament with the actual players.
Oh, snap. So got a little baseball we'll talk about with the Rebels. And speaking of baseball, we, dude, I know pitching is really important, and pitchers and catchers are, getting ready, kind of loosening up, getting ready to do their business. But, man, did you see some of the news that came down in baseball? Probably not, because not all of y'all are just super, super crazy people. But Nick Pivetta got a $55 million deal with the San Diego Padres. And I'm sitting there saying, that dude's got almost $16 million per year. Dude went 6-12 last year, had an ERA north of 4. Like, dang, pitching in baseball right now, you can get some bank. And another one that kind of made me scratch my head a little bit was the Red Sox. 3-year deal for Alex Bregman, $120 million. Damn. Big, big money. Big money. We'll also kind of bring in today, we're going to talk a lot with Isaac Simpson at 11:30 through 12 o'clock because we got to talk about the Grizzlies. We got to talk about, do you know that was it? They done, not done for the season. They're off till the 20th. Then they start a 3-game road trip. They got the Pacers, the Magic, then the Cavs. Then they come back to the crib on the 25th. It'll be KD, D-Book, and the Suns, followed by the Knicks to close out their the nice February month as we get ready for the stretch. All-Star Weekend is basically almost upon us. And everybody was playing last night, so we're going to talk some NBA. We'll talk about the Grizzlies' loss last night. I don't think it's all that big of a deal. I'm pretty happy right now where the Grizzlies are at. You didn't have any Ja last night. Kawhi Leonard actually played the most minutes he's played, I think, all season, 34 minutes. But the Grizzlies, going down the stretch, All-Star break, they're chilling for the next week. They don't play till next Thursday, again, the 20th, when they start that 3-game road trip before they come back to the house. And just right now, currently, they're just sitting there chilling right now in that second spot, a half game ahead of the Nuggets. And I think the Nuggets have 1 game left. I might be wrong. Nope, they're off. Nuggets don't play till the 20th as well. So, nice little relaxation, a little bit of chill, little few things going. We have a very, very small slate compared to last night because everybody was playing. Tonight's the last night of NBA basketball before the All-Star weekend. You got the Warriors, the Rockets, the Kings, the Pelicans, the Heats, the Mavericks, Thunder, Timberwolves, Clippers, and Jazz. So we'll break down a little bit of what we're betting on at the end of the program. We'll also talk about some of the craziest things we saw last night in the NBA as we had a full slate. Tom Thibodeau team giving up 148 points is kind of crazy. Knicks got a big dub last night. Karl Anthony Towns, 44 points, 10 rebounds. Lord. You also had just like Ant-Man down 2 against the Bucks. Pulling up another 3 to win. Nope. Clank. My man, I feel like every time I see him shoot a game-winning three-pointer, it clanks. Now, I know you miss every shot you don't take, but does he always have to take the game-winning shot with 3 dudes draped on him? You're a hella player right now. Don't get me wrong. And I get why you're there taking a shot, but sometimes you might need to pass that bad boy to somebody that's open. Like, for real. And then last night, I don't know if anybody was paying attention to the Mavericks and the Warriors.
Game of the night, John.
Also, one of the dumbest plays that I've seen in a long time. How do you pass up in a game that you're down by 1 point? By 1 point with 56 seconds left in the game, and you got a layup, and you kick it out to a 3 down 1, and you give up a layup for an open 3, which was clanked. Now, again, I understand we are at a 3-point renaissance, and everybody loves shooting threes, and threes more than 2, and 40% of threes is more than 50% of twos. I understand the math. But I also understand in the final minute of a basketball game, if you're down 1 and you got an easy 2, why don't you take it? I thought that was just a little strange, a lot of strange. That was just real freaking strange. So we're going to get NBA, Grizzlies. We got to talk about the Tigers. All that's going on at 11:30 with Isaac Simpson. Ole Miss Rebels, 12 o'clock with Evie Van Pelt. I got some great Hardwood stories from Kadarius Toney, which is a terrible one, to thoughts for me with Adventure River, and just a lot of good stuff during Hardwood. We had a Damian Ball, by the way, speaking of the Tigers, sighting last night. Talk about his debut. He actually went off, if you remember him. But we got to also bring up right now off the jump some of the, I guess you would call breaking news, not like breaking news, like crazy, crazy stuff. But it did make me think to myself, why is he doing this? Is this going to improve his draft status or hurt his draft status? I'm talking about Travis Hunter, who I talked a little bit about yesterday, that I thought if the Titans took him at number 1, that would be the absolute stupidest thing the Titans could do. Don't take a wide receiver that high. I've talked about the second highest bust rate is wide receivers in the first round of the draft. It is so hard to actually know which wide receiver is going to translate. I went through all that stuff yesterday, the difference in the college game and the NFL. Again, I talked about, like, look at some of the best wide receivers currently in the game. I mean, look at just the Eagles, A.J. Brown. Look at Devontae Smith, the things that he's done. Stephon Diggs, Tyreek Hill. All these dudes down. Puka Nacua. You don't have to go that high. I mean, Cooper Kupp, Chris Godwin, Keenan Allen, Deebo Samuels. I could go on and on and on about guys who've been taken after the first round of wide receivers who were awesome. I can also tell you for a while who were busts. So I think that would be kind of dumb, but is this dumb? And I'm talking about Travis Hunter. And I want you all to participate. Very, very simple before I explain everything about Travis Hunter. Do you think, one, people, he's going to be a better cornerback in the NFL or a better wide receiver? Let me know at the Sissy's Log Cabin text and listener line, because life's too short for ordinary jewelry, baby. Let me know what you think. 901-360-8255. That's 901-360-8255. Do you think he's going to be a better NFL cornerback or a better NFL wide receiver? Because today he declared, he committed to the NFL draft that he is going to the draft as that is correct, a cornerback. The interesting thing about, I guess, this play and this move is, what is it? Like, what's the message he's trying to send? Is he trying to say that he wants to play both ways? Because most, I feel like, draft experts say to themselves, they think he'd be a better wide receiver. He is the former Biletnikoff winner for the best wide receiver in the country. But is he saying, I want to play both ways? Or is he saying, I don't want to be a wide receiver, I want to be a cornerback? Now, for Travis Hunter, I don't know if you know this, you throw up the top 6 wide receivers, the top 6 cornerbacks, there's a separation of about $6 million. Like, wide receivers right now are making a little more bank if you're really, really good. But I'm kind of curious, what message is he trying to send? He's not going to be running a bunch of is he saying to himself, you know what? I'm not the most polished wide receiver. I don't want to go out there and run routes and maybe show up some of my flaws. Or is he letting teams know, I'm a cornerback. I want to play cornerback. Or is he letting teams know, I'm going to play both ways? This is interesting. Going to have a few teams scratching their head. It kind of also goes in back with a little bit of Travis Hunter situation for me is it makes me think. Got a couple of people, man. Travis Hunter is a cornerback, sorry. Can't read. Period. He's a cornerback. A couple of people saying cornerback. Cornerback, no doubt. Damn, cornerback. Damn, dude, he's a cornerback. Now I got one guy saying he's not just a wide receiver. Maybe that's what he's trying to, throw that message out. Like, look, don't take me if you just want to leave me on one side of the ball. But I will say, it does also kind of correlate with some of the things I've also heard today. It makes me think, not correlate, but I was looking at the Jags earlier where they had some rumors swirling around that Pittsburgh was looking to try to get Trevor Lawrence. I do not believe that. Adam Schefter did report it. I was reading his little tweet earlier, and it said, Schefty's like, yeah, man, right now, bro, what did he say? It's over here. I'm just scrolling for it. Jaguars are in talks with Pittsburgh about Trevor Lawrence. One, I don't believe that would be, I don't think Liam Cohen is down with that. I mean, if you heard, other than Duval from Liam Cohen, he was talking about how they are basically here and built everything around. They're going to build everything around Trevor Lawrence. He's stoked. He's like, yeah, it's on. Trevor Lawrence is our dude. I'm going with Trevor Lawrence. And why would this, Steelers are going, the other thing is just math. Why would you eat $100 million in cap for a couple draft picks, first round pick this year, maybe a first round pick next year? I know the Jaguars are kind of far off, but one thing that could fill a void, the Jaguars were the worst team in football at, guess what, covering wide receivers. Their cornerbacks were terrible last year. Maybe you get a Travis Hunter. They do have the 5th pick this year. That actually makes sense to me. Damn, we got some dude saying Travis Hunter might be the next Deion Sanders. Deion is the real GOAT.
Hold your horses now, people.
Would you draft Deion at number 1? Hindsight being 2020. Hell yes, Texter. Are you
Hold your horses on that one, John.
I want you to think about something. Deion, he was the difference between Dallas and the 49ers winning big Super Bowls. You remember that, right?
They were back-to-back, John.
Hey, where's Deion playing? Oh, Dallas is going to win it this year. Oh, where's Deion playing? Oh, 49ers. 49ers going to win it this year.
We actually had them first, John.
Oh, I wasn't going. I'm going backwards, man. But Deion, not only was he literally a shut-down freaking corner, Boy, it was a hell
Punt
of a baseball
returner.
player, punt returner, dancer. Got everybody hyped. But I got to say to the texter, I think we need to pump our brakes. Like, did you say that, Darian, or did I just have that set in my head?
No, that was Texter.
Oh, Texter said pump the brakes. Well, thank you, Texter. Because I think Travis Hunter, very good. Quick twitch. Awesome. But do I know that Travis Hunter is going to be Deion Sanders? Not really. Because Deion's on a level that doesn't even make sense. I mean, realistically, let's go out there and grab the best cornerbacks ever seen to play. I mean, Revis Island was ridiculous. I love me a little Revis Island.
John, you know you can't say Dion's name without doing this.
So I called my mama and she said, baby, yeah.
Travis Hunter will never, ever.
It's got to be because I got people who want to be my friends.
Man, they saw-
People I never knew. People I never thought about.
Little
Man, I
Deion
like
Sanders
it.
right there.
So, like the best cornerbacks of all time, Deion Sanders, Rod Woodson,
Darryl Green.
Darryl Green, but he was more of a safety. He
Yeah,
was,
he's
he was
yeah.
a cornerback actually in his earlier career. He played 20 some odd freaking years, man. Like Aeneas Williams back in the day was cold-blooded. Like straight up cold-blooded. Richard Sherman, man, long. He was just a big, mean when, Patrick Peterson. How can we forget Patrick? Again, I said Revis Island. Champ Bailey, except for when he got burnt that one time against Baltimore. That hurt. Ronnie Lott, safety, but my goodness, he'd light you up. I mean, Deion Sanders has got to be the best. I'd say Rod Winston's right up there, too. But, think about it. We're talking about the creme de la creme de la creme. Can you be so sure that that's what Travis Hunter's going to be? No, I can't be. That's why I'm scared to take him first. And then also when I think about the best wide receivers that ever played the football game, of course you think about Jerry Rice. He's not Jerry Rice because they're just totally two different style players. I mean, still don't know how Jerry did all the things that he did. It was absolutely ridiculous. He is not a Megatron because he's not 6'4". I mean, I guess you could Marvin Harrison, is that a fair comparison? I mean, but Marvin Harrison was one of the greatest route runners I've ever seen. He was just, it was, dude, hell. I mean, honestly, I don't know. What are the comps? Travis Hunter, kind of reminds me actually Diggs. Stephon Diggs. I mean, they're quick twitch. But, Diggs was, a 5th-round pick? So if we don't know, I mean, he is the Biletnikoff winner. And by the way, speaking of wide receivers, he ain't built like Sterling Sharp was, who's now in the Hall of Fame. He ain't a big, gigantic man like Andre Johnson was.
Two cornerbacks I just thought of. I couldn't get it out. I had to research it. Asante Samuel and Stephon Gilmore.
Oh, good job. Those are sick. He ain't Mike. Mike Irvin, he sure as hell ain't Mike. He ain't the playmaker.
Maybe J.J. Stokes.
I'm just saying, is he a slot? 6 feet tall, 6'1", 185 pounds?
Not a slot, but he's definitely a second wide receiver, though.
He ain't Chris Carter. Much better person off the field. Ain't doing a whole lot of blow. Now, Chris Carter in his later life, man is redeemed. Awesome, super, super dude. But, man, when he came out of Ohio State, that dude was buck wild. But all he did was what? Catch touchdowns.
What about Alvin Harper from those Cowboys?
Oh,
Not necessarily a
stop.
slot, but, a good number 2.
Definitely ain't no T.O. or Larry Fitzgerald. I'm trying to think. I don't know. I actually kind of could see where he would be a better cornerback.
But that's not
But
where
can
the
he
money's
take
going
that
to be, right?
I mean, if you go with the top 5, 6 wide receiver salaries and the top cornerback salaries compared. It's about a $6 million difference through
In
that.
favor of wide receiver?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
But again, Travis Hunter, I mean, is he going to go out there and run a 4.240 like an Xavier Worthy?
I
Or
don't
is he
think he
gonna-
has that in him.
I know one thing, he's got some stamina. What do you think his 40 is? I mean, there's got to be. Google that bad boy and see if we got a 40 time on Travis Hunter. I mean, John Ross, remember him? He was the fastest dude in the world. He couldn't play in the league. About the same size. Remember, you got to get off these cornerbacks. They get you up in press coverage. You got to be able to get some, I mean, not speed separation, but you got 5 yards that he's all up in your grill.
Man, it's wow. It says that last year, May 17th, he dashed a 4.27.
Damn. All right. Never mind. That's blazing. Damn. Okay, Travis Hunter. I honestly though, there's going to get to a point right now. I think with him, I don't even know if I would have done the
He's
combine.
6'3", too, John. It says 6'3".
Oh, really?
Uh-huh.
That makes me a little bit more nervous if he's on still only 185 pounds.
Can squat 315, deadlift 350, vertical 10 feet.
Richard Sherman's an overrated talking head. He can't be like Antoine Bolden. His body was too big. He was a possession receiver. He just used his butt. He was almost like an Antonio Gates at wide receiver.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Great. Yeah. Yeah. Bowden was very thick.
Oh, damn. Look at the time. This Travis Hunter thing fascinates me because the dude is on another level when it comes to playing with the college kids. That translates to the National Football League. But then again, I don't know exactly what he is. I don't know what he wants to do at the level. With the way that the NFL is specialized, I talked about this yesterday. You got guys who are pass rushers. You got this, you got that. Could he be a guy who comes in and plays on passing downs because you don't want him in there on first and second down if they're running the football because, again, he's not the biggest guy in the world. But do you have him come in your nickel package and be one of your corners, and then you play him at wide receiver for the majority of the game out there in the slot?
That's a way of keeping him safe, but you still have to worry about overexposure, though.
I mean, you don't have, it's interesting to see what they're going to do with Travis Hunter. Phenomenal athlete. He's going to be a fun kid to watch. And again, texters who are bringing it in, most of them say he's a cornerback. Cornerback, no doubt. Cornerback. But I got to take a break. We'll be back in 2 shakes. We got to now talk about the Grizzlies. They got a little week off, except for those in the All-Star game. Also talk about the dunk contest. Did you see the dunk contest they had the other night in Cleveland?
No, they had one already.
At the halftime. No, I'm not, it's the ball game, how they do all the fun stuff. Dude, that's the best dunk contest that I've seen in probably 6 years. The dudes in Cleveland.
They would mixtape guys dunk?
Bust Mac McClung's sorry ass. I don't want to see that again. Been there, done that. Don't like watching movies multiple times.
He's a 2-time defending champ, John. You'll see him again.
Especially dudes who are really little in the G League that don't even play in the NBA. But I got to take a break. Isaac Simpson, Tigers, Grizzlies next. Sports 56, 98.5 FM.
We are real sports talk. Sports 56 WHBQ. Available on your radio dial at 560 AM and 98.5 FM, as well as around the world online at sports56whbq.com. Take us with you everywhere by downloading the Sports 56 app. And at home, just say, Alexa, play Sports 56. Sports 56 and 95 FM.
Designed to maximize your workouts and minimize your time. An exercise coach gives you personal workouts by one-on-one with a trainer. Check out the exercise coach at exercisecoach.com/Lakeland or exercisecoach.com/Sign up
It's inevitable. Rain, snow, and ice are coming, and they'll make driving a challenge. Thankfully, the experts at Tire Rack know a thing or two about conquering winter's worst. New tires elevate traction and braking, and they'll keep you safe. Tire Rack sells only the best, like the full line of Falcon tires. Go to TireRack.com/Colin, build a tire and wheel package for DIY installation. Ship fast and free, and backed by 2 years of free road hazard protection. TireRack.com, the way tire buying should be.
If you need glass replaced, there's only one name you need to know. Gunslinger Glass, the largest full-service glass company in the U.S. They've been an industry leader for over 145 years. For all your residential, commercial, or auto glass needs, Gunslinger Glass is the name you need to know. 24-hour emergency service for all commercial customers, plus a nationwide warranty on all professionally installed glass. Visit Gunslinger Glass in Midtown at 340 South Hollywood, across from the Liberty Bowl. Visit GunslingerGlass.com. Gunslinger Glass.
Welcome back to a little Sports 56 Happy Hour. I'm your buddy Johnny Radio. I'm kind of excited because we're going to talk Grizzlies. They have a week off. They're not back till next Thursday. They play the 20th, and they got a 3-game road stretch. They got the Pacers, the Magic, and the Cavs before they return to the crib to play the Suns. That'll be on February 25th. That'll be followed up by the Knicks. So we'll have a little KD up in the crib with D-Book. Then we'll have a little Cat, and then also, Jalen Brunson, who's awesome. So it is that time. They're right now sitting there half a game ahead of the Nuggets in second place in the West. Things have been going pretty good. But before we jump into the Grizz, before we jump into the Tigers, I have to say we've been talking a lot of Travis Hunter. Isaac Simpson can talk anything when it comes to sports. I mean, you talk about football, baseball, basketball, you name it. If there is a score being kept, if you can take a wager, he knows about it. He's also he's phenomenal on Twitter at IsaacW_NBA. Check him out. Joins me every single Thursday. But Travis Hunter. So we've been talking about him. He today came out and announced that he is going to the NFL Combine as a cornerback. He's going to do the cornerback drills. He's going to do all the cornerback stuff. We talked about height, speed. Everybody, though, on Twitter, on our text line, Sissy Log having text and listener line, I said, hit me up, let me know. Cornerback, wide receiver, what's he going to be better in Excel? Majority of the people came in there and said he's going to be a cornerback. Cornerback, dude. He's the next Deion Sanders. Cornerback. A couple guys came in there and said he can play both. Some said wide receiver. We've been talking about it. I'm going to ask Isaac Simpson what he thinks about it, but I did look it up. He has an unofficial 4.27, but his best official time that they have him right now is at 4.4, and what they have him listed right now is 6'1.5", 185 pounds. And we talked about the best wide receivers that I thought about. That most of them are kind of big-bodied dudes. Talks about some of the best cornerbacks. Woodard is comps in comparison. Isaac Simpson, welcome to the show. And what do you think about Travis Hunter declaring as a cornerback for the NFL Combine? Do you think it's a big deal? Where do you think he fits best in the NFL as a wide receiver or a cornerback?
Man, I think I'm probably in the minority, man. I was just having a conversation with someone on Twitter about this, and I've talked to a lot of people about that. And personally, I think he's better at wide receiver. I think durability-wise, like you said, he's only 185. He has to get stronger. I think if he's a zone coverage corner, I think he'll be all right. If you put him in man, especially if you're going against bigger guys, I think he's going to have a harder time tackling those guys. I think if I was the team, I would look at him as wide receiver. If I'm going to take a corner that high, I think I would be looking at Will Johnson. Is the guy that I like. Maybe he could do it. Like I said, man, he did something in college that we've never really seen, man, a guy to play both sides like that. But if I was him, and I said this a couple months ago, I figured that he would go in at corner, but I think I would advise him to go wide receiver. I think even money-wise, I think if long-term it would be better for him at wide receiver. But, again, man, like I said, I think in zone coverage he'd be okay. But as a man corner, man, I think he'd get burnt at the NFL level. And, again, he's slight of frame at 185, man. And you're going to get these bigger guys trying to tackle him. He's had some durability issues in the past. I'm kind of concerned about that.
That is a little bit, but what I will say, I mean, he's a special freak of a talent.
Oh, he is. There's no question about that.
And the thing is, though, is like I just don't know where you put him either. Like it's just, because
he can't play both. I know he's talked about possibly playing both, and you can't do that at the NFL level, man. It's just that grind, man, trying to play on both sides of the football. I mean, I guess you could put some special packages where you use them sometimes, but you can't play both full time. I know he's kind of hinted that he'd like to do that, but I don't think a team is going to allow him to do that. It'll be interesting that if he goes in at cornerback, is the team that drafted him, do they necessarily keep him there, or they just look at him and say, well, we want you to play receiver, so we're going to put you at receiver. That'll be kind of interesting to see.
Well, I'll tell you one thing, they better do their due diligence because you take somebody that high, you better make sure y'all have talked and met a whole lot and you have a concise plan and y'all are both agreeing on what's going to be best for you in your future and the organization. And I'm sure that these teams will, as they're worth billions and billions of dollars.
And I'm going to say real quick, athletic profile-wise, I mean, he is the best player in this draft. I mean, just if you're talking about that, I mean, he's just off the charts, man. It's just like you said, where does he fit best? But I think once he gets into camp, I'm interested to see his numbers. You talk about that 40. I would like to get an official.
That's me. That's the problem. Like the best official time I could find was a 4.4, which is that is blazing. That's fast. But again, there's a difference between a 4.4, 4.3, and if you get down to the 4.2,
especially you get to the NFL, that's a big difference between 4.2, 4.4. I mean, NFL, that's a night and day difference. So it'd definitely be interesting to see where he comes out. But I mean, he's an exciting player, man. Whoever draft him there at the top of that draft, man, they're getting a special prospect. I don't think there's any question about that. I hate to kind of say anything negative about him because he's so awesome and like something we've never seen before. I hate to say anything negative, but I just, for me, I think if I was a team, I think I would look at him as wide receiver first, but we'll see.
It's going to be fascinating. And then the thing for me is also, too, like yesterday I was talking about the bust rate for first-round NFL wide receivers is second highest to quarterbacks. So it's like it kind of makes you a little nervous because there is a big difference from going from the college to the pro, and I went through it all yesterday. But that's just it'll be interesting to see. This draft will be fun. We'll get more draft talk, but I got you here to talk a little Grizzlies and a little Tigers. Grizzlies got a nice little break coming up. They're not playing till next Thursday. Last night didn't go their way. Kawhi Leonard played more minutes than he's played all season, dropped 25 points.
He kind of throw back the clock game last night because he hadn't been playing it well. I think the late game before that, he only had like 10 points. He hadn't been playing that many minutes, but he kind of turned up against the Grizzlies last night. That always seems to kind of be the case with situations like that when it comes to Memphis.
Yeah, it was his get-right game. And then plus also, it's not just that. I mean, damn, man. Like, talk about, the Clippers just making it rain from the three-point line. They were jacking them up and hitting them. Grizzlies were also knocking down their three-pointer as well. It's just it didn't seem like they could just kind of keep up. That third quarter was terrible.
Yeah, man, I kind of felt that. I had said throughout that day that felt like kind of what you call a schedule loss for the Grizzlies coming out of that game against Phoenix.
Mm-hmm.
I knew Ja, he failed in that game and kind of banged that knee up, and with the way they handle injuries, I was pretty sure that he wasn't going to play last night, and I was like, well, okay, this is the last game for the break. The Clippers really need that win to get to 30 before the break. I just kind of felt like, okay, this is going to be a spot where Grizzlies go out there and get blitzed. Ja's going to be out. Vince Williams ends up being out. I'm like, on the road. It's back-to-back. They had to travel. Clippers hadn't played since Saturday night. Had been sitting at home all that time. It didn't start off that way, man. The Grizzlies started off the game looking good, and even at halftime, I was like, okay, I think they were down by 6.
Man,
I was like, okay,
first half, if I would have just had the cojones, man, the Clippers on the money line comeback, Lord. After that first quarter.
Yeah, because like I said, I was kind of surprised with how competitive they were even in the beginning of that game because I thought it was going to be one of those ones where you look up in the end of the first quarter, you down by 18, but Desmond Bane, man, was hot from 3, kind of kept them in it. They kind of lost that lead in the second quarter. I think they were down by 6 at halftime, and then third quarter, man, the floodgates just opened. Clippers knocking out threes, man. They just couldn't get anything going. Turnovers, and I think one thing that we saw in the last couple games that's going to be interesting to watch after the break is teams have started to. Phoenix did it, and the Clippers did it last night. They're starting to blitz Jaren Jackson Jr. and send a double team immediately after he gets the ball. And I've been kind of surprised all year that teams have kind of let him cook one-on-one and not send a double team. And we've seen that. And I don't know if the blueprint is out and teams are figuring this out, but that's 2 games in a row where we've seen that. He's kind of struggled. He still had 17 in that game against Phoenix, but they really made it tough on him. And the Clippers did the same thing last night, and OKC did it as well. So there's actually 3 games in a row. So I think that's something that we have to look at going forward, have teams figure him out, and he has to learn how to pass out of that double team. That's something that hasn't really evolved in his game, man. Anytime teams have done it, he's really kind of struggled. We saw it over the last 3 games. It'll be interesting to see, can they find a way to remedy that, because I think that's what you're going to see going forward, and you're definitely going to see that in the playoffs when teams, you're playing the same team and they're just scheming specifically against you to stop them. They're going to see that on film, and they're going to say, okay, we're going to blitz them every time and force somebody else to beat us. And how do they adjust to that? I think that's what I'm going to be watching closely after the break.
You know, that's it. I was kind of thinking, if you go back to the Phoenix game, you know, he did a little scoring in the first quarter, beginning of the second quarter, and then he went silent basically from about 10 minutes left in the second quarter to the fourth quarter. You know, I think he ended up with like 4 points after starting off the game really hot the other night. Yeah, them blitzing him the way they do, he's just going to have to, like, hey, those assist numbers need to go up.
Yeah, that's definitely an evolution of his game. We saw what he's done offensively, but now teams are treating him like a superstar player. Superstars command double teams, and I think he's earned
He'll make the
respect
adjustment
now. So we just got to figure out how to navigate it.
Now, Grizzlies right now are sitting in the 2 slot, and we haven't talked since that damn Oklahoma City game. That Oklahoma City Thunder team is ridiculous. Man. They're scary good. I mean, right now nobody can beat them. I think they've won 7 straight.
Miami was up. I was going to say Miami was up almost the entire game on them for 3 quarters, and then they just ran away from them in the fourth quarter like it wasn't anything. That team, like you said, man, that SGA, man, it's just dangerous. He's already good enough, and then they give him all these foul calls, send him to the free throw line on these bogus calls, and he's just, next thing you know, you look up, he has 45 points. There's nothing you can really do about it, man. Jalen Williams, or J-Dub, the one that starts, he is tremendous. I mean, they just have a bench, guys knocking down 3, Wiggins knocking down 3s. I mean, he killed us the other night. I just don't know. That's a Rubik's Cube, man, and I don't know how you solve it, man. I don't know if you can solve it. That team's loaded. You would think the Grizzlies would kind of have an advantage on the inside, and that wasn't the case at all. Even with Chet, you think his light size, Darren could kind of bully him, and got Zach Edey, and you would think that would be the Grizzlies' advantage, but it didn't look like that the other night. I mean, that team is just so good, man. I don't know if anybody beats that team. I think even looking at Boston, looking on the eastern side, man, that team this year, man, just feels like they're on a whole nother level of playing field than anybody else in the West, especially.
And I'm with you. And then don't forget, like, we don't even talk about Dort. I don't think gets the credit he deserves as possibly like the best defensive player. Yeah, he didn't even play against him. Possibly the best defensive player in basketball. But the way they score, they have more wins. Like, their winning percentage down double digits. I mean, they've been down double digits, and I think it was 31 games. I saw this the other day, and they've won like 27 of them. And they've only won 44 games on the season. Yeah, so they'll let you just come out there and they'll get down double digits, and when they turn it on, like, they turn it on.
Because I can't remember how much. I think they ended up winning that game by a significant margin last night, and they were down by double digits for most of the game, and they just turned it on in the fourth quarter. They scored 122 points or something.
They outscored them 32-8.
Yeah, I knew it was something crazy.
It was nuts. It was a crazy night. But, man, talking about Grizzlies, are you excited? Like, you got the All-Star break. When you come back, this is the real deal, Holyfield. The stretch right here is where the NBA basketball gets extremely exciting and good going into the playoffs. How you feel about the squad right now, rotations? What do you look at? What do you feel good about? What do you got concerns?
Yeah, the Jaren thing that I spoke of earlier is kind of the concern that I have. But, I mean, this team, it's weird because what you see from this team is unique because it feels like when they play inferior teams, they just rout them. I mean, they just dominate the teams, and then when they go against teams like OKC and teams that you look at as more of their peers, they struggle more than it seems like they would with the way they dominate bad teams. It's kind of a weird dynamic, and that's the thing that the balance that I have to try to figure out with the team. And a lot of people get upset when you say, "Oh, well, you have concerns." They're like, "Well, we're the second seed right now. We've won an odd number of games, blah blah blah." But they have a history. I mean, we saw it against the Knicks. We saw it against OKC. We've seen it all throughout the year that when they play healthy, top seeded playoff teams, they struggle. And that's something. Those are your peers. Those are the teams that you're gonna have to be playing in the playoffs. You're not gonna be beating up on these lower tier teams in the playoffs, and that's where the question comes in. And also health wise, I mean, Ja Morant just can't seem to stay on the floor. He plays 3 games, he's out again. He plays 3 games, he's out again. And they have to have him, and they have to have him engaged. We've seen games since he's come back where he wasn't engaged. We've seen games where he was engaged. I thought he played a wonderful game against Phoenix. Wasn't forcing anything. Still ended up with 26, 28 points, I think, and just played a wonderful game. There are other games where he just seems disengaged. He's upset with the referees. He's not getting back on defense, and seems like he's just mentally elsewhere. They need a locked in and healthy Ja, and that's something that you just, at this point, really can't count on. So I think that's the Jaren thing, and I think Ja, how healthy he can be down the stretch into the playoffs are going to be the things I think that really determines what this team is able to do in the playoffs. I think this team is also very matchup based. I think there are paths where they could possibly make it to a Western Conference Finals if they could get Minnesota or Golden State. There are certain teams that I think that they play well against, but I think you definitely don't want to see OKC before then. But if you're 2 seeds, you won't. But it just they're very matchup dependent. I think there are 3 or 4 teams that I'm not worried about, but there are other teams like Denver, OKC, Dallas. If AD, Lively, and Gafford are healthy, I think that's a nightmare matchup. I think that's probably almost as bad as OKC for them, the way that they match up, especially with the way AD is really giving them problems over the years. So it's going to be interesting. I think they're going to easily win. I think they can break the franchise record. The franchise record for wins is 56. And I think they would have to go 21-7, I think, to get to 57 now after the loss last night, which I think is possible. I mean, you look at it, they're like 18 games, over 500 now with that 17. I think they can do that if they stay healthy, but when you get to the playoffs, man, it's a different story. That 2 seed doesn't necessarily mean anything once you get in those playoffs, and that's what I'm looking for, man. What can this team do in the playoffs? What can Taylor Jenkins prove that he's a guy that can elevate this team? That's something that I'm not convinced of yet. But, I mean, regular season-wise, I think they're fine. I mean, they're going to win a lot of games, and I think they're going to run up that number, 55, 56, 57 wins, and we'll see what happens.
So, Oklahoma City, Memphis, Nuggets, Rockets, those are right now, you think, the 4 best teams in the West, correct?
Yeah, I'll go with that. Yeah.
Who else kind of gives you a little bit of pause for cause, like looking at the way everything's now shaped up? I mean, the Lakers have been winning a lot lately, but, I mean, they don't have a center. Like, I mean, Jackson Hayes can't do it. Luka and
when I
LeBron.
got Alex Lynn like that, gonna do anything. But the Lakers, I know a lot of Grizzlies fans, you're right. They don't have a center. You got Jackson Hayes, Alex Lynn rotation now. They don't have a center, but there's something about the Lakers and LeBron. Ever since a couple years ago, they had that game in L.A. where Desmond Bain called LeBron old. They were going back and forth and kind of really went out there and kicked their ass out there in L.A. LeBron has been on a mission every time they play the Grizzlies. He turns the clock back and looks like Cleveland LeBron every time they play the Grizzlies. And now you add Luka to that as another guy who is historically giving the Grizzlies problems. I'm not necessarily scared of the Lakers, but it's not a matchup that I would want. Austin Reeves also is a Grizzlies killer. Has been over the years. He's weirdly got the best of Bain. Anytime they've matched up, he goes crazy every time they play the Grizzlies. That's not a matchup I would like. I'm not saying the Grizzlies can't beat them, but I wouldn't want that matchup. The Rockets have been a bad matchup in the regular season. Grizzlies lost that season series 3-1, but they're a young team and they've kind of just fallen off a cliff right now. They lost 6 in a row. They kind of won the last 2, but even in these 2, they really struggled with Toronto at home, and then Phoenix was super short-handed on the back-to-back, and it took everything they had to kind of pull away from them late. So it seems like Houston was a little bit of fool's gold. I think they're going to probably drop down. I think the Lakers will probably overtake them.
Really?
Golden State, yeah, I think
I was
the
just
Lakers
kind of
might
thinking
end up
maybe
overtaking.
going into the break, looking at vacation, chilling a minute, maybe come back and reset. But I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, I was going to mention Golden State. Golden State, I'm not sold on that at all. I think you give up Wiggins, Kyle Anderson, and Dennis Schroeder, and you bring in Jimmy Butler. I know people look at Jimmy Butler as a guy that elevates in the playoffs, but that team is old, man. They just paid that guy a whole lot of money. I think they should have been looking more for a rebuild. It wouldn't shock me, man, if they lost in the first round and didn't make it out of the play-in. And that would be a disaster because I think they were just desperate to get a name. Steph is aging out, and they wanted to make it one more run. But I just don't know if that's it. Like, that team really doesn't scare me. I mean, they lost to a Dallas team last night that was starting Omax Prosper and Kessler Edwards in the front court. They don't have any center right now. Started two small forwards, it's power forward and center, and the Warriors lost to that team last night. That team just doesn't scare me.
Man, I know one thing. We got to also switch gears now. Good thing we got a small timeout to take. Come back, though. We're going to talk Tigers. They're playing South Florida. We got Isaac Simpson. Don't you dare touch that dial. Sports 56 98.5.
Join the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin, for Wolo and Friends. Weekday mornings from 10 to 11 here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Briggs Powder Coating for a beautiful finish every time. Briggs Powder Coating specializes in automotive, ornamental, residential, and industrial coating. With two big airlines and the largest match ovens in the Mid-South, Briggs can accommodate all of your powder coating needs. Locally owned and operated since 2002, Briggs Powder Coating will customize a beautiful finish just for you. Drop by or call to see how Briggs Powder Coating can bring color to your life. 901-367-2771 or BriggsPowderCoating.com.
Last week was our first playoff game, and my flexor psoriasis was so itchy under all my gear. Sometimes just thinking about scratching could take me out of the moment. And then my doctor told me I could get clearer skin with a pill called Otezla.
Otezla apremilast is a prescription medicine used to treat adult patients with plaque psoriasis. Recommend phototherapy or systemic therapy if appropriate. Otezla can help you get clearer skin after just 4 months.
Okay, ready for the next game. Talking to my doctor about a pill was a total game changer.
Don't use Otezla if you're allergic to it. Get medical help right away if you have trouble breathing or swallowing, swelling of the face, lips, tongue, throat, or arms. Severe diarrhea, nausea, or vomiting, depression, suicidal thoughts, or weight loss can happen. Tell your doctor if any of these occur and if you have a history of depression or suicidal thoughts.
Efficiency planting solution. The Case IH 2150 early riser planter combines the industry's most accurate planter technologies with the run and roll unit for fast and uniform emergence. The Case IH 2150 early riser operates at your speed and adapts to unique field conditions so you can maximize your yield potential. Stop in or call Mid-South Ag Equipment at 662-890-3141 to learn more. That's Mid-South Ag, your Case IH equipment headquarters.
The only power source capable of generating 1.21 gigawatts of electricity is a bolt of lightning.
Now back to Sports 56 Happy Hour on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Here once again, Johnny Radio.
Welcome back to a little Sports 56 Happy Hour. I'm your buddy Johnny Radio. We got Isaac Simpson. I got Quick Draw McGraw on the other side. Darian Newsom. We've been talking everything from the Grizzlies, the Tigers, Travis Hunter, a little this, a little that. But we got kicked back up. Talk a little bit of Tigers. They got a game tonight, man, playing South Florida. Isaac, what's up? What you expecting tonight? They're on the road. They're only 7.5-point favorite. Kind of a little bit shocked, and I'm curious, will we see Tyrese Hunter tonight?
Yeah, I think that's probably why their line is what it is. I think they're probably expecting him to be out, which that's kind of what I've expected all week. It didn't feel like, from what I've heard, a situation where he's going to play. And that does scare me a little bit because he's a guy that a lot of times when they're struggling late in these games, he gets a couple big shots, gets fouled, gets to the line, gets an and one, and that's how they've kind of pulled out some of these close games. But it's just, man, it's the same thing, man. It's all about them. I mean, if they come out with the right focus against these teams, man, they're not going to have any problem. But if they come out slow and let these teams hang around, especially on the road, every game's a Super Bowl. I was seeing a tweet the other day. They're having some kind of blackout or something. Every game they play, man, it's the biggest game of the season for that team. So their fans are going to be out like you're not going to see in any other game they play all year. So they have to be ready for that. And again, it's all on them. And I'm really hoping they can win out and win all the way out to the conference championship because they're in a unique situation. And I want them to put pressure on the committee to kind of look at them because you look at their net. I mean, they're down at 45, which doesn't at all match what their resume is. And if you finish the season, they'd be 30-4 with one loss in conference, even if your net's like in the 30s, which probably be something in the mid-30s at that point. You would have to evaluate that team different, man. You had a 30-4 conference champion, only lost one game in conference. What they did non-con, and you're really not going to give that team a 3-4 seed. I think, and there's been a lot of articles put out about that where I think their resume, would have to supersede kind of what their net is. But if they lose another game, I think that kind of bails the committee out, and they're just going to drop them to a 6 or 7, and that makes it easy for them. So that's kind of what I'm really hoping that they can pull this off, man. It's tough. Like I said, would that be, I think, 9 more games they'd have to win in a row. Not easy, man, because, again, they have a target on their back. These teams are bad, and they have that ranking next to their name. And also the 2 games this week, South Florida, Wichita State. Every time Memphis gets close to that top 10, which if they win both of these games, they creep toward it. That's where they seem to kind of fall off. So I'm hoping that doesn't happen this time, man. Hoping Penny can keep this team motivated and they keep winning. But again, man, it's not even but to talk about the other teams. It's all about them and how they come out and play. One thing I think tonight is Memphis is a horrible rebounding team. They're one of the worst in the country. USF actually is a little bit worse. So this is the game where they should be able to beat them up on the inside. Dane Danger going up against Jameer Reynolds, 6'11", 275. It's going to be the matchup that I'm going to be watching. That's really the only big that they have. South Florida doesn't have a lot of size at all. So I think the combination of him and Musa should be able to do some damage tonight. I think that's kind of where their advantage is. They're kind of small with their guards. They kind of start 3 or 4 guards as well. Outside of him, I think the biggest guy is 6'6", that they start. So it's going to be an interesting matchup. We know their fans are going to be fired up. But again, if Memphis comes out and does what they need to do and play to their ability, I don't think USF or anybody else in this conference can stop them.
The one thing I'm going to be watching is, how much is Dante Harris and what kind of, with Tyrese Hunter, if he's not playing today, I feel like there is an opportunity. We can see more Dante Harris and more P.J. Carter.
Absolutely.
And, right now, these young fellas who we're going to need in that tournament feel like they're getting a little bit more confidence. I mean, we've been seeing it with P.J. Carter, but Dante Harris actually finally had a real good game against Temple the other night. I thought he gave you great minutes.
Oh, absolutely. And I think Penny likes him a lot because he plays defense, and that's one thing that the coach usually loves, man, before offense, man, plays really good defense. And I think you're right. I think these guys getting his playing time is going to be valuable. I think P.J. Carter has really become like a 6th starter. He doesn't start, but he plays starter level. I mean,
he's playing 20 minutes tonight.
Carried his team at times.
Yeah, and plus I trust PJ to shoot that 3.
And he makes free throws. There's another thing that a lot of throws, even PJ Haggerty, man, is caught the curse. He was like a 90% free throw shooter at Tulsa last year and started off really good this year. He's even got a little bit shaky at the free throw line as of late, man. That Memphis free throw curse doesn't miss anybody except PJ Carter. PJ Carter is money, man. He all the way going back to the UConn game in Maui. He's just come up big time at the big time. Hits big time threes, knocks down his free throws. He's super poised, man. I love that kid, man. I think he's going to be a real weapon off the bench for this team. And you talk about getting into the conference tournament and NCAA tournament. I mean, I think having him and, like you said, Dante Harris, having those guys confident and getting minutes now, I think is only going to help this team because depth has kind of been something that's been a question mark for this team. So to have two guys like that can really contribute, I think that's going to be nothing but good for them.
Man, less than a month of regular season basketball. Only 7 games left for the Tigers tonight, South Florida. It's at 8 o'clock, folks. It's on the Deuce. So y'all check that out. Isaac, what you got coming down the pipe, my friend?
Yeah, man, like I said, man, the new podcast coming soon, man. Just had a lot of stuff going on, man. They're still working on that, man. Still working on some things there. It's going to be called a We Are Memphis podcast, so make sure you check that out. Going to have big-time guests on there, man, on a solely basis. So make sure you check that out. And check me out at Isaac_NBA.
Man, have a great week. Enjoy the NBA All-Star Game, and I'll do it again with you next week, homie.
Man, will do. Talk to you next week.
That is my buddy Isaac. Also, if you're hungry right now, man, I'm starving. Like, I am starving. I need to go to Los Cabos, but I'm stuck here for another hour. I guess I'm going to go when I get off, but it's cool. Because guess what? Their lunch special is from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. So I get off here, get done with hot, say 2 o'clock. Get over there at 2:30. I'm chomping from $7 to $11 with their lunch specials. You heard that right. Really good food. Really, really fair price. The flavors of Mexico will melt in your mouth. Plus premium shots of tequila all day for $5.50. Don't you dare touch that dial, folks. We got Evie Van Pelt from the Rebel Walk on the other side. Sports 56, 98.5 FM.
Spring forward with real unlimited data from Straight Talk this tax season and get a free Samsung Galaxy A16 5G or Moto G Power 5G 2024 with select plans. So you can stream games during Mad March hours, check the weather for April showers, and watch garden videos about May flowers. Straight Talk, real unlimited data. Available at Walmart and StraightTalk.com. Offer valid for 4/15/25. Taxes and fees apply. Requires purchase a single line Gold Unlimited plan or higher. For network management practices, visit StraightTalk.com.
Fall is football at the Owner's Box Sports Bar and Grill in Lakeland, Town Square. Monday through Friday, it's happy hour from 3 to 6. $1 off all draft meals, $5 off meal drinks, $4.50 for house wine, mozzarella sticks, queso, Friday night ice cream, 7 o'clock. Dining in my grill, Wednesday night, free. Watch college football every home game. Owner's Box Sports Bar and Grill in Lakeland, Highway 70, Fall.
WHBQ Memphis and W253DF Memphis with Brett Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus. Weekday afternoons from 3 to 6.
Now back to Sports 56 Happy Hour on Sports 56 at 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by Tino's Vodka. And once again, Johnny Radio.
Welcome back to a little Sports 56 Happy Hour. I'm your buddy Johnny Radio. It is a little Thirsty Thursday. Thank you so much, Tito's. It's the beginning of my 48-hour Friday. 48-hour Fridays start on Thirsty Thursdays. And mine starts about, say, 2:30. Little two-stepping with my favorite friend, Tito's. The best spirit around. Crafted in steel, United States. It's down in Austin, Texas. It's 6 times distilled before it's distilled in classic copper pots. Unique flavor, slightly sweet with that black pepper note. It balances everything out. You can be crafting a cocktail or drinking and eat. Whatever you do, make sure you get your Tito's on today. We got the great, sweet Evie Van Pelt from the Rebel Walk. Tell you right now, Chris Beard's also walking that walk and talking that talk with the Rebels. They survived last night. Shot a lot of free throws, thank goodness. But they had their best record in 6 years in the SEC. It's taken less than 2 full seasons for Chris Beard to turn this bad boy around. I'm sure Evie's feeling pretty good today. How are you doing, Miss Van Pelt?
I am doing great. I'm excited to be here, feeling good about men's basketball, women's basketball, football, you name it.
Baseball around the corner.
Yes.
I can't believe it.
Spring football starts March 18th is the first practice.
Oh, my goodness.
So we don't have that long to go. I'm pumped about that.
Yeah, and then baseball starts Friday.
Baseball starts Friday, and I'm going to be there. I'm heading out to Arlington tomorrow morning, and we'll be there for the first game for all of them, but the first game tomorrow is against Arizona. So excited to get a look at these kind of new-look Rebels.
We'll definitely be excited. It is starting. It feels good. It's right now, I'll tell you, in Memphis, it don't feel like baseball right now, though. Lord, It's like 30-some-odd degrees.
Oh, I know it was here. I know last night David was mentioning, our wind chill's going to be in the 20s. I'm like, what is going on? So, yeah, that is not my kind of weather.
No, mine either. That is not my kind of weather either.
I am Tito's on the beach kind of weather.
Oh, man, me too. Oh, Lord, a beach would be so nice right now.
It sure would.
I would say, though, I watch the Ole Miss Rebels, and again, I'm starting to figure out a lot more. And I figure out, I'm starting to feel like this team is many shooters, is the way they play defense and steal. They don't turn the ball over. It feels like when the push comes to shove, and I was asking this just a few weeks ago, who's that guy? Down the stretch, it feels like Malik Dia, and just the fact that he bulldogs folks is kind of like he's becoming that identity and that guy they give the ball to down the stretch, I feel like. What do you think?
Oh, isn't he, though? He was the player that they gave media yesterday to be interviewed after the game, and I just like listening to him. They asked him, somebody asked him, how do you stay focused game after game, especially like you're playing South Carolina, and that team has not won a league game, but they did not look like a team that has not won a league game. At least in the second half, they didn't. And Malik's answer was real interesting. He just says, we're trying to do something special, something that's never happened in Oxford. He said, we all know that. We work hard. We have great preparation. And then he gave props to Coach Beard, and he said people don't know how many hours he spends just watching film and trying to get us prepared for the games. And he told us this game against South Carolina wasn't going to be easy, regardless of the fact that they hadn't won any games. But definitely he's just really, really, really stepped up, and he talked about that and how, on any given night, they have so many good players on their team that anybody can step up, and, he's just trying to do his part.
Were you a little concerned about how many damn times the Gamecocks kept getting to the line?
Oh, yeah, I was. And, it was funny because Beard was asked about that too. And I will tell you, to me, Coach Beard, there's a lot of coaches who could get up there and who do get up there and complain about the refereeing and, it wasn't even and blah, 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 and, whether they're going to get fined or not. But it's just interesting to me because he never does that. And he said no complaints on the other side of the floor. He goes, I thought we were fouling, and so I thought that was interesting. I mean, he said it. He just said, the discrepancy on the other end is where we were a little frustrated, but our guys did a good job keeping our poise. But he did. He just talked about it's SEC basketball, and he gave South Carolina a lot of credit. And he said he was not complaining about the the free throws. So, good for him. It's kind of like he mans up and just, calls it like it is.
And I think he also had to feel better the fact that they shot 62% from the free throw line, too, because there was a lot of clanking.
Oh, man, isn't that the truth? I think Ole Miss was 14 of 17, and South Carolina was 20 for 32. So, those 12 missed free throws there, boy, as we know, those sure add up that way. And, he said also credit to them. They had a plan to try and take away Ole Miss's three-point game. And he said, I think we only shot like 13 threes. And he said, but, they made 8 of them. They were 62%. So
you're not going to lose a lot of games when you see 62% from the three-point line.
No. So that was, I think, you can talk about quadrant, 1, 2, whatever, and they haven't won any games. But I just think that place was rocking. Didn't you think the players, it was a little chippy there?
Mm-hmm.
So they could have lost their poise, but they've got a lot of veteran players. And, gosh, I think I heard a stat last week that Ole Miss has 7 players on the team with over 1,000 career points. That is insane to me. That's pretty huge. So they've got a lot of veterans, and they've got a lot of guys who are used to being the guy. So when it comes down to it and they need somebody to step up in one of these pressure situations, they've got a lot of the guys. So that helps them.
Now, I was talking to a few Ole Miss fans, of course, and, after that game, they were just like, whew, yeah, like, okay, we got that win. And that's exactly how they felt after the LSU games, like, whew. Got that win. The way they played against Kentucky, it just, that first half was the best basketball I've ever seen Ole Miss play. They dominated. Dropped 98 points on Kentucky. And again, it just kind of, on the road wins matter. But it did feel like, they're a little lackadaisical. And then, like I said, it feels like when Malik Dia gets a little upset and Chris Beard does a little bit of yelling over in the sideline, when they turn it up, it's a different basketball team. Did they just come out a little bit flat on the road?
Yeah, I think so. Well, I actually think they came out. They started out pretty well in the first half. I think they were shooting at one point.
Yeah, that stretch
like
coming out of halftime, that run South Carolina went on is what scared you.
Yeah, and that's when like against Kentucky in the second half, and like it's just one of those where Rebel
Texas
fans
A&M.
are like fasten our seatbelts. Here we go. I have so many. There's so many Rebel groups I'm in, like on Twitter, and you could just the comments are just really pretty funny, and with everybody going, okay, guys, hold your breath. Here we go. It's going to be a tight one. And that is. And so, when they started out, I think they had an effective field goal shooting percentage of about 85% in the first 16 minutes of the game, and everything was working. And fortunately, like you say, Malik Dia was the one who stepped up this game. And, thankfully, he was the one who did it and did a great job.
Eyes were definitely going to be on the SEC on Saturday. Talk about some really big games. Nothing bigger than number 1 versus number 2, and it happens to be Auburn and Alabama. We know the great Iron Bowls in football that they've had over the years. First time Auburn and Alabama faced each other number 1 in basketball ever, and it's actually the first time in a regular season game that an SEC team has been 1 and 2 in the country and faced each other. So, that's some history right there. But that's at 3 o'clock. The game I'm looking at, 5 o'clock.
5 o'clock.
Mississippi State coming to the house. Ole Miss. Talk about a real big game right now for both of these squads. And I feel like Ole Miss owes them one. That was a crazy game down in Starkville. Got to overtime. Couldn't hold on to it. How you feeling about Mississippi State and Ole Miss this Saturday at 5?
Man, I'm excited about that. They'll be on the Deuce, ESPN2, and looking forward to that. Josh Hubbard, if only Josh Hubbard, we're in Oxford, and who knows? You never know. Like I think we've talked about before, but I think he's averaging 17.6 points a game for them. He's obviously the key. I think the Rebels I just think the Rebels are going to be fired up, eager to. I mean, nobody wants to get swept by their rival, and so I think the one thing I can say is Ole Miss is, man, they are tough in the Pavilion. They are tough to play, and so that's going to be a great game. I mean, we saw it the first one. I mean, it was a game that, you know, you just sat there and you thought, why are we behind? Why are we having to fight it out? But that's not a bad team. Oh, Mississippi State's a good team, and I think the Rebels will emerge victorious. I don't think there's a line yet. Not that I've seen.
No, I have not been able to find one.
Yeah,
and
me
I'm interested to see what it's going to be. But again, like, these two teams do not like each other. And the one thing about Mississippi State, like, their last 4 games, talk about like rough. You had Alabama, then you had Missouri. You did get a win over Georgia, but that was like 1 point. Talk about like pulling that thing out of the. Woo. And then the Gators just beat the brakes off of them.
Yeah, they did. So, you know, they're going to be looking for a win, and what better way to do it than to try and do it over your rivals? So, fasten your seatbelts again. I mean, that's probably could be another one that comes down to it. I mean, these are just some cardiac games here all across the SEC. I mean, we've just seen some fantastic basketball. And speaking of lines, I wanted to tell you, I won my parlay, my Super Bowl parlay.
Oh, nice!
I had the Eagles money line and then 2 prop bets. Jalen Hurts 2 or more touchdowns, and A.J. Brown getting a touchdown. So that was my parlay, and I won it. And it was like, yeah. So anyway, I was excited about that.
I bet you were. Golly, like that. Thank goodness for gambling, because if you just were watching that thing straight up, that was one boring Super Bowl.
Oh my gosh, you're so right. I mean, I even said those exact words to David throughout the game. I'm like, man, when AJ got his touchdown, I'm like, okay, I'm good. I know we're going to get another. You know, the Eagles will get another passing touchdown. But I said that to him. I'm like, you know, if I didn't have this parlay, I would not be watching this game right now. So you're right.
All right, now I'm kind of curious. So I heard like there was a nice little gift given from the Mannings. What's up with that?
Oh, the Mannings, yes. They have had the Children's Hospital in New Orleans has now been renamed for the Mannings. And the Mannings,
wow.
And you know, the interesting thing about that to me that I think people don't even necessarily realize is Peyton and Eli both also have children's hospitals named after them. And so that Peyton's is in Indianapolis, and then, of course, Eli's is in Jackson. And so, yeah, it's now Children's Hospital New Orleans is now named Manning Family Children's Hospital. And the gift from the Mannings was called, quote-unquote, transformational. So that is pretty exciting. And like I said, you know, to have Eli in Jackson, a children's hospital, and then Peyton, St. Vincent's Children's Hospital in Indianapolis was renamed Peyton Manning's Children's Hospital. So they have, what a legacy they have there of giving. And Archie said he was more proud of Eli and Peyton's children's hospitals and the money they are raising and the children that they're helping. He was more proud of that than anything they ever did on the field. So that kind of gave me goosebumps.
Oh, that's awesome. And, you know, everybody in Memphis we know about, you know, we have St. Jude and Le Bonheur. So
yes.
you know, I just love the fact that they're doing such great things. I will tell you, man, Arch, he's got a lot to live up to, man, looking at Eli and Peyton, dude. You got to get some Super Bowl rings. Get a Heisman is about the only thing you can get that they didn't do in college. So good luck next year. And then you got to get a hospital named after you.
You got to get a hospital named after you. And now, you know, I don't think we've talked since Pro Football Hall of Fame. And I'm annoyed. Yeah, I'm annoyed about that, that Eli didn't get in. But I fully expect, I mean, he darn well better get in the coming years. So hopefully that will be something else Arch will have to aspire to at some point when his career moves to the NFL. Now, speaking of the NFL, I
Jackson
want to
Dart.
tell you. I want to tell you, he has definitely, I mean, his draft stock has skyrocketed since the Gator Bowl, carried the momentum over into the Senior Bowl, and he's actually finding his name getting mixed in there as possibly the third player at the position to be selected behind Cam Ward and Shedeur Sanders, and, could make his way into the first round. But this is interesting. Today, the NFL released the complete list of players who've been invited to participate in the NFL Combine, and Ole Miss has a whopping 11 players invited to the Combine, including our man Ulysses Bentley. So,
Get out of here. That's awesome.
Bentley. So we'll get an article up on that here in a little bit, but it's for those wondering, it's Dart, Bentley, Trey Harris, Jordan Watkins, Juice Wells, Jared Ivey, Walter Nolan, J.J. Pegues, Princely Amon-Mielen, Pupal, and Trey Amos. So that is going to make, I mean, I always watch the Combine to see the Ole Miss players, but we have never obviously in all my time covering Ole Miss, have had 11 players. So that's going to be so fun to watch. And, I think Nolan and Amos are first-round prospects. I think they'll lock up the draft stock with a good week in Indianapolis. Not that they even need to, but I think they will. And then, of course, I think we'll have next month we should have Pro Day at Ole Miss. So I'm not sure with Dart, whether he's going to do some of the time. The quarterbacks don't throw there, and they wait and they throw at their Pro Day at their own school. I don't know. I don't know what Dart's going to do. My money on Dart is
he'll be
scared.
competing. Yeah, I was going to say I've got pretty sure
Yeah.
he'll be out there doing everything.
Yeah, I think so too. I think if ever there were going to be a quarterback who was going to compete, it would be Jackson Dart. And if on the off chance he doesn't, it would only be because he received strong advice from an agent, whomever, I don't know. But I absolutely think he'll be out there competing.
And I mean, I think we're 2 weeks from today that the NFL Combine starts.
Yes, February 24th. So, yeah, February 24th through March 3rd at Lucas Oil Stadium in Indianapolis. And, I would sure love to be there for that. I think, we'll be there definitely for Pro Day in Oxford, and that's always a good time because you get, other players who necessarily might not have been invited to the Combine, and sometimes you have former players who come and kind of work out for scouts. So that's always a great time. But, man, 11 Rebels in the Combine, and Ulysses Bentley, come on, do.
And I have to go back on one thing you were doing because you were talking about the draft combine, and I was thinking about how you were agitated about Eli not getting in the Hall of Fame. And there's a certain gentleman who also, might see it from a little shaded glasses. He's got 2 Super Bowls with Eli. It was David Deal. When I talked to him about it, he's like, man, they just don't understand. Not only, if you just want to look at the stats, he's got 2 Super Bowl rings, beat Tom Brady, went through all that, the whole thing, career record. And the one thing David's like, nobody ever mentions, the dude made 210 consecutive starts. He was the NFL Iron Man for 15 years. You could count on him every single Sunday. Again, 15 straight years. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, he's like the Cal Ripken of football. I mean, I agree with you. I think he ought to be in just because of that. And I was telling David, I feel like if you're a quarterback and you won 2 Super Bowls, and especially you beat the New England Patriots and Tom Brady at their finest. I'm dumbfounded. Much less 210 career starts. And it's funny you mention that because that durability is just something. We're talking.
It's
the
not
NFL.
just durability.
Those are big boys.
Yeah, it's not also just the fact that he was so durable and he was 210 consecutive starts. Also, think about it. He had no off-the-field issues, wasn't suspended, didn't cheat and deflate balls and do all kinds of this and that. Just went out there and beat the dude who did. The other thing is Plaxico Burress doesn't shoot himself in the leg.
A gun. Yeah,
he might have 3 Super Bowl rings. Probably
Absolutely.
they look dominant.
Do you think they would have put him in if he had a third? I feel like how many Super Bowls do you have to make it in? And it's funny, speaking of durability, I was telling David yesterday that I feel like one thing that people need to be thinking about with Jackson Dart is that dude played 3 years and never missed a game because of injury. I think the only games he didn't start
kind of reminds you of Eli Manning.
That's exactly my point, and that is, SEC football is big boy football, and the blows, we've had times off and on offensive line issues and whatever else and injuries and such, and to have been the starter for 3 years. I think the only games he didn't start was his first year when he and Luke Altmaier, alternated. Kiffin had him like one played one and one played the other for the first couple of games. And then Luke got hurt and Jackson, took over, and the rest is history. But that is, and we're not talking about a kid who, pussyfooted around and, he would put his head down and truck somebody.
There was a few times I thought he might be knocked out.
Oh, man, that Georgia game, that was the closest, the Georgia game in Athens. The Georgia game this year he got hurt, but and
then Austin came in and made a big fourth down throw.
Showed us all what he's got, but against Georgia in Athens the year before when they got blown out, he got his bell rung so bad that my photographer was down on the field and was right behind when Jackson came off the field, and he texted me up in the box. He said, Evie, Jackson doesn't even know what planet he's on. He said he got his bell rung badly. But, never missed a game. So I think stuff like that matters, and kind of what you were saying about Eli. Jackson has been great example on and off the field, done a lot of, volunteer stuff that maybe doesn't necessarily get talked about, like what you were talking about J.J. Pegues last week and what he did for the Natty winning cheer team.
And they'll be celebrating them in Oxford Saturday with the Mississippi State game.
Oh, my gosh. Really? Are you going to be there?
901-360-8255. Send me some tickets, people. 901-360-8255. No, I'm going to end up going down there. I'm going to go down there.
Well, you're the daddy of
I'm going to be
winning
there.
cheer team member, so they should let you in for free.
Dude, I agree. Man, let's get that done, Lord.
Tell him you're a big radio
I didn't want to
star.
go
Let
media
you in.
credential just to go down there and see my daughter. That's kind of, little...
Well, I don't know. Your daughter, that's, isn't everybody walking around with a national championship, so that's a big deal.
That is the truth. By the way, I got a texter, obviously an Ole Miss fan, wanted to say, Evie, also add this to your argument when it comes to Eli Manning. Everybody always says John Elway is one of the greatest to ever do it. Numbers. Eli Manning, 366 touchdowns, 244 interceptions. Elway, 300 touchdowns, 226. Eli's better. Passer rating, 84.1. Elway's is 80. Better's Eli. Completion percentage, 60%. Elway, 56. Both have two Super Bowl rings.
Wow. Unbelievable. There you go. I don't know. I don't know how they didn't put him in, and it's going to be frustrating. I think next year the group that's eligible, including Drew Brees, a lot of good players. So all the ones that they accepted in this last time were good. But I will die on that hill of Eli Manning deserves to be in the Hall of Fame.
Oh, my goodness. And speaking of quarterbacks, we talk about Jackson Dart, NFL Combine next week. 2 weeks from now, we'll be seeing him out there throwing and doing all his business. The Austin Simmons era, though, is getting ready to kick off. And I had somebody ran into him at, the Dick's Sporting Good text me the other day and was like, dude, he's yoked. He's definitely not, he's not playing baseball this year. He's not getting long and lean. They say he's putting on a little weight, the good weight, muscle.
Yeah, absolutely. And we've talked about that before. He was the tallest kid on the tallest of the quarterbacks, 6'4". And I was talking about the other day. I was talking about Jackson Dart and how thick he is. You just look at Dart and you look at his size, and And that person is absolutely right. Austin is putting on the muscle and is able to, now that he's not having to be out there doing spring baseball, he is in there in the facilities, working out, lifting weights with football in their program, getting big. And, man, like I said, it's here. I mean, almost spring football, March 18th. Can't wait to see what he's going to look like out there.
Evie, I can't tell you how much I appreciate your time. It's already 12:31. Look, I'm talking about 6 o'clock.
If it's 6 o'clock, we've really gone a little long.
I'm supposed to have been at the bar an hour ago.
Oh, that's right. Tito's, I'm coming.
Tito's, yeah, definitely. Tito's, I'm coming. But did want to just say one quick thing. So what's going on with Coach Joe and everything? The girls been just killing it. I hadn't seen anything lately.
The girls are doing well. They had a little bit of a hickey,
little bump in the road.
Yeah, a little bump in the road, and Yo said, they were going to have to make their minds up to, that they were going to win in some of these close games. And so I think a lot of people thought a win over a ranked team was going to come, possibly that Oklahoma game that they ended up losing. They were in it there right till the end, but they had big win. They beat number 8 Kentucky in Oxford this past Monday. So Monday, a few days ago, 66-57. Kentucky's number 8 ranked team in the country. So huge win. It was only the second win over a top 10 ranked team in the Coach Yo era, the other being when they defeated Stanford in the NCAA tournament. So that tells you how big that game was.
Man, they're doing it on the hardwood. You got Chris Beard, Coach Yo getting busy. Mississippi State's coming to town on Saturday. Baseball, Mike's getting ready for Friday night. Evie's going to be there, and the NFL Combine's around the corner. Thank you so much for your time. Have a wonderful day. Tell David I said what up.
I will do it. And we're looking, I did want to add, Game 1 starter against Arizona going to be Hunter Elliott on the mound, so we're going to get a look at him. Riley Maddox is Game 2 against Texas, and Mason Nichols Game 3 against Clemson. So 3 veteran players who are all 3, knock on wood, healthy, and I'll be excited, and I'll keep folks updated.
Fingers crossed, and everybody, the number one source for all things Ole Miss sports information, it is the Rebel Walk. Evie, be blessed, dear.
You too. Have a great weekend, my
Hotty toddy. We got to take a time out. And again, don't forget, though, follow Evie at Ole Miss Evie. Follow the Rebel Walk at the Rebel Walk. And always go to therebelwalk.com. Your number one source for all things Ole Miss sports information. Now, when you're thinking about Tito's, man, that means you're just a normal, good guy. And you're also thinking right. Make sure when you're going to get down tonight, grab your little bottle of Tito's, the best spirit in the world. I got Hardwood on the other side. Sports 56, 98.5 FM.
Broadcasting from the Family Leisure Studio, we are Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Take your basketball skills to the next level at Shoot 360 Memphis. Shoot 360 is a revolutionary basketball training facility that combines cutting-edge technology with gamification and provides instant objective feedback, hands-on, one-on-one expert coaching. And now, introducing Shoot 360 for you, a newly renovated 50,000 square foot facility with 2 NBA regulation-size courts, 3 high school-size courts, and 4 shooting bays with Shoot 360 technology. Memberships are now on a monthly basis. And yes, you can become a member at both locations. Whether you're an aspiring young talent, NBA player, or looking for a unique workout, all skill levels are welcome at Shoot 360 Memphis to learn proper shooting and passing techniques, improve fundamentals, and gain a competitive edge while having fun. Shoot 360 Memphis now in Cordova and Collierville. Call them today at 901-779-3176. That's 901-779-3176. The future of basketball training is here. Shoot 360 Memphis.
I'm Gary York. I'm the service director of Lexus in Memphis. Our service department wants to be more than just a place where you get your oil changed. We do glass repair, windshield replacement, recalibration of your camera and sonar systems, even wheel repair, tire replacement, all the things you would expect from a luxury automotive dealer. Please check out our website. You can schedule your appointment, check out our specials, hours of operation, or if you'd like to do it in person, please reach out to one of our associates at 901-271-5
I know it's not spring yet, but it's close, and right now, it's the perfect time to start thinking and planning for your backyard entertainment. Just so happens Family Leisure is thinking that way too, with their preseason pool and patio sale. Get 2024 pricing on all above-ground pools and patio furniture. Also, secure your spot for pool installation. That way, you can go ahead and start making plans. Lots of new inventory is en route, so in-stock patio furniture is up to 70% off. You want a play gym, a trampoline, how about an outdoor kitchen to go along with that new pool? They're all on sale too. You can get spas up to $3,000 off and save even more by mentioning this ad. You do that, you'll get a $250 gift card with a pool, spa, or patio furniture purchase. Winter won't last forever. The spring will be here soon, so get ready with the preseason pool and patio sale at Family Leisure, Whit Road off I-40, where family and fun all come together.
Today, I consider myself the luckiest man on the face of the earth.
Now back to Sports 56 Happy Hour on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by Tito's Vodka. Here once again, Johnny Radio.
Welcome back to a little Sports 56 Happy Hour. I'm your buddy Johnny Radio. It's a little Thirsty Thursday or a 48-hour Friday, how you want to look at it. It's always brought to you by the best Tito's handmade vodka. I'm a little fired up, y'all. I got to remind you, y'all know Valentine's Day is Friday, right?
Yeah, I think we do.
Y'all know, like, not only do you get something for the people you love, man, you can do that. Yep. Dinstals, by the way. Let me tell you something. Nobody dips them like Dinstals. Good. I love the cashew crunch like Dave. He got me addicted to that stuff. But you can also do stuff for maybe an ex-girlfriend. Maybe some girl just broke your heart. I got the best Valentine, like anti-Valentine gift ever. And guess who's doing it? The Memphis Zoo. Have you heard about this, Darian?
No, please.
Dude, I'm going to tell you in 2 shakes of a lamb's tail. I'm going to tell
For
you.
the exes? Oh, I can't wait.
This is for your exes or maybe an annoying neighbor or a coworker that you don't like. Like anybody that you don't like and you think it would be funny to send them a anti-Valentine's Day card. It's only $10. It goes to support the Memphis Zoo. Have I got one good for you?
I cannot wait.
But I do need to remind you, if you need to buy or sell a house, it's very simple. Check out my girl, Margie O'Neill of RE/MAX Experts. Go to margie.o'neill@remax.net. Let's go to Hardenwood.
This is Access Hardenwood.
Wow, dude. Valentine's Day, Friday. Everybody's thinking about roses and a nice dinner and teddy bears and chocolates from Dinstals. That's for the people you love.
Yeah, I was thinking more pepper
And I don't
spray.
know if you know this. You know there's no finer line in the world between love and hate, right?
Very thin
Such
line.
a fine line. Man, you love her, then you hate her. Then you love her again, then you hate her. And then after the love and the hate and the love and the hate and the love and the hate, man, you might be stuck on the hate this year. Let me help you out. You need to get it off your chest because we don't want this to fester. We don't want you to go crazy out there. So a very positive way to let that person know that you are not happy with them, check out the Memphis Zoo. You can name an elephant turd after somebody. I'm not joking. For $10.
Oh, my goodness.
You can name an elephant turd after the person you don't like. So, again, you got an annoying neighbor, a mother-in-law that's annoying you, an ex-girlfriend. I mean, I think this mostly is for your exes. They're not only going to name a turd, an elephant turd, they're going to send you a digital copy of the elephant.
That's what I'm talking about.
Using the poop, using it, like dropping it.
Because that was my next question, John.
They're going to videotape it, and then they're going to zoom in on the big old boulder of elephant poo. Like
Send
poo,
it to the ex, right?
And they're going to say, this turd is called so-and-so.
Yes, okay. I was
like,
wondering
you know,
how they
if I was upset with Quick Draw McGraw over
Yeah,
here,
yeah, quick draw.
I'd be like, yo, Quick Draw tomorrow. He'd like look at his phone and be a message from me, and he'd open up and it'd say, you know, it'd have an elephant, derriere, going number 2, and say, hey, this one's named after you. I think that's just how you need to do it. I like that. That's an easy, simple way to do it. But it goes to the zoo, so it's a good cause. $10. Like, if you, right now, like, I feel like you probably got, like, you're thinking to yourself, oh, I got like 20 in the chamber I can send this to. That's only going to cost you $200. And you get to support the zoo and name a bunch of elephant turds after you. I love it. Go Memphis Zoo, go Memphis Zoo, go Memphis Zoo. A couple of texters also made me think about this. We were talking about Eli Manning, right?
Yeah.
One person came in here and said there's a lot of pros and cons to Eli. I can definitely agree and see which side you were on. Eli's pros: 2 Super Bowl rings, 5,700 yards, 210 consecutive starts, 15 consecutive years. Dude was, though, 118 and 118 in the regular season. Only made the playoffs 6 times. Of course, 2 of those times he did cash the chip. 82.7 passer rating in an era where the averages in the quarterbacks were in the 90s. Phillip Rivers' passer rate was 95.2. But Phillip has no rings. It can go either way with Eli. That's very absolutely logical. And I get it. But it feels like I can make an argument for almost anything in the world now. And it's not because I'm ornery or I'm arrogant or I'm egotistical or I'm actually smart. Because, by the way, I feel like every single year we get dumber and dumber. The more AI and the more gadgets we use and the more we're looking into our phones. But do y'all think that I can sit there? Do you think there's any way I can make a case that Kirk Cousins, Derek Carr, Brock Purdy, and Baker Mayfield have played better than Pat Mahomes over the last 3 seasons? Is there a way I can make that argument?
Regular season only. But you probably couldn't because of the record. So
let me just tell you something. No, I can, because I can make an argument about anything I just said. Let's use numbers. We got lies, damn lies, and statistics. And here's some stats for you. Over the last 39 games, okay? Pat Mahomes, 9,841 yards, 64 touchdowns, 28 interceptions. Brock Purdy, 9,949 yards, 62 touchdowns, 25 interceptions. Uh-oh. How about Baker Mayfield's last 39 games? 9,694 yards, 77 touchdown passes, only 29 interceptions. Derek Carr's 8,400 yards, 58 touchdowns, 23 interceptions. You know what? I'm going to knock Derek Carr off of that. That's just the dumbest thing I ever tried
there
to
you
prove.
go.
I
There
just
you
tried,
go.
I tried to go. If you're going to go home, if you're going to go slander somebody, make sure you are comparing them to somebody that it would be considered slander. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I'm with you on that one. I was wondering about the car and the Mayfield.
I mean, still 58 touchdowns, 23 interceptions, 8,400 yards is not terrible. I mean, Kirk Cousins, if I use the same person, 10,400 yards, 66 touchdowns, 35 picks.
He and Purdy, the only 2 you pretty much got on.
I mean, Purdy, yeah, I was going to say Purdy and...
Purdy's probably your best bet out of all those guys.
Purdy and Baker Mayfield.
But
I mean, if I use Joe Burrow's those numbers, they're so much better in the last 39. Joe Burrow, but like we expect that from Joe Burrow. He's got over 10,000 yards, 82 touchdowns, only 24 picks.
If he had 10 or 11 wins, he would have been MVP this year.
If he just made the playoffs.
If he made the playoffs, he would have been MVP.
But I guess, anyway, I don't even know what my whole point was. I guess I was just saying I can argue anything.
Bro, my thing is
either way.
It's not the last 39 games with Carr and Mayfield. It's the 39 games before that as well. That probably sucks. So, yeah.
Well, that was an exercise in futility.
Definitely. You tried, though.
Yeah, I tried. You know, YouTube, I've been talking about, like, because I just said how, like, I feel like I'm getting dumber. Like, I used to be able to get anywhere in the world, and I didn't have Google, that little map thing. What is it called? Google Maps?
Yeah, little map action.
You know, it tells you how to get everywhere. So now, like, you know, if you're going somewhere, they just send you the address, and you, like, push the button, and it literally tells you.
Before that, you had a big GPS screen in your car taking you
No,
everywhere.
before that, I used, like, the sun.
Oh.
I knew where I was, man.
Renaissance man.
I was
Okay.
like we grew up when we were children. They kicked us out of the house every morning. It's like right when the sun came up, they're like, "Get your ass out the house! Don't come back till the street lights are on."
I see that. I was gonna ask you where you're a street light baby. Gotcha.
Always.
Okay.
And then they didn't even really like when the street lights. They'd be like, "Well, you kind of is it dark already?" So like we're like we're getting dumber. The more AI we use, I feel like we don't think as much. Like people are now telling me, like these young people are like, I never actually answer my emails. I'm like, what do you mean you don't answer your emails? I have AI do it for me. I'm like, what? Like I read them, and I approve the response. I was like, holy hell, how you do that? And they're like, oh, get this. I'm like, damn. So when do people think? I don't know. But I know I haven't been thinking very much because I got my cable bill today, and it is ridiculous. So I'm not very smart for that, but I'm more curious. I was looking up YouTube TV, and they said it's going up $10, but it's going to go from 73 to 83. I just don't know. Is YouTube TV any good, people?
I've had it
They say
before.
they're in a little bit of a fight with Paramount.
Do you have it?
No, I got the holy crap package, and I'm tired of
yeah.
paying for it.
Well, no, I'm sticking with my holy crap package. So
What do I? My question is, streaming back in the day was kind of slow. Now it's like all kind of sped up. When I'm watching my ESPN Plus, half the time it's closer to my BetMGM app than my damn cable is.
depends on what day, Johnny. You know, it's gonna be that day where you're gonna really want it to work, and it's gonna lag, and that phone will be out the window.
Well, the reason I need to know is,
I wouldn't do it.
it's. By the way, Matt, you're listening to my show right now because you just text me. Is your Disney story real? I got a text from about a Disney story. It sounds kind of nasty. I need a little confirmation before I bring this to the. Maybe I should do some research.
Disney and nasty don't go well, but it is Hardwood, so yeah.
Yeah. Dirty under.
Because I think the people want to know, how did you know about the elephants? Like, are you on the list or something? Like,
actually, I checked my email.
So
speaking of checking your own damn email, I checked my email and I got one from the zoo that says, and it has like this cute little thing. Remember, I got grandkids and kids, man. I go to the zoo. They even have a day where they drink and stuff at the zoo.
We just want to know how you got there. That's all.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure a lot of people out there, but the people who didn't get it, man, go check out the zoo and send an elephant turd to whoever you dislike. Man, they say this is a true story. I'm going to say this is reckless speculation.
Allegedly, John.
Allegedly.
Yep,
Here it is.
TV talk.
Allegedly. From a texter. Damn it. Matt, don't get me in trouble.
Disney and nasty. I mean, I think you're headed that route.
So back in the day, you know, they used to wear these costumes. You know, like you go down to Disney and people are dressed up as like Tinkerbell and Snow White. And
Saw multiple Mickeys just a month or so ago. Yep.
Multiple Mickeys?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You know, there's multiple Mickeys, multiple Minnies. You can't just have one. So many kids, you know.
So if you worked as a Disney character, you had to wear these outfits, okay? But the weird thing is, like you couldn't even wear your own underwear, they said.
For the costume?
It was like, they had like everything was Disney attire. Like all the way from your undergarments to like, you come in, you strip completely naked, you put your thing on. And I don't know if you know this, man. I don't like wearing other people's underwear. I don't know. They got a real good mom down there washing everybody's clothes?
Nah, I doubt that.
I don't trust a dude who's washing clothes, do you?
Nah,
He's going to throw everything in at once. It's going to get all messed up.
Gonna wash it on cold, no hot water. You know.
Damn, dog. I couldn't have handled it. Like, would you share your jock strap with your homie when you're playing baseball?
You're begging for an itching.
Like, dude. That's nasty. You know how nasty we are?
So they do that at Disney now?
Up until 2001, until according to this texter, there was an outbreak of lice. No! Doesn't that sound terrible? And by the way, have you heard anything about aliens lately or whatever? Like, I don't even know about this until I was looking on my X the other day. And you know, so I believe Trump has declassified like Martin Luther King's assassination, the
JFK.
Kennedy's assassination, and somebody else's assassination, but maybe.
Yeah, somebody. We'll just leave it at that. Somebody else.
And then also like UFO and UAP, like those are being unclassified too, right?
Huh?
And like some lady who looks really official was up on the podium that looks like it's coming from the White House. And my little Twitter has this like CNN, okay? So I think it's right. I don't know, man, I don't really trust Anderson Cooper. Dude's a little slick, don't you think?
It probably was my girl, Sarah Huckabee Sanders.
No, because I'd know the different, like, dude, Sarah Huckabee Sanders, I could confuse for maybe Mr. Ed, but not this girl. You know what I'm saying? Like, I respect Sarah Huckabee Sanders, but that mouth, you could put a bit in it and she wouldn't skip a beat.
I got a weird crush on her.
Dude, you like big mouths, I guess.
She's rich and looks mean. So.
Could fit like 3 of you in there, can tell you that.
She looks so mean, though. Like, I don't know.
Howdy, Wilbur.
Someone told me she's the sweetest woman on earth. Though,
I bet she might be the sweetest woman on earth, but I know when she's talking and you only have to shut the mouth. And I'm like, it's not in black and white, so it's definitely not Mr. Ed, but it's Sarah Huckabee Sanders.
I can't see it now. I see it. Oh, my God.
Yeah, buddy. By the way, I was actually found out that there's some hot people in over in Washington. Like there's a Lauren Boebert, a little bikini with Kid Rock. There's the bartender AOC. And then somebody said I need to check out some lady named Nancy Mace. Might have a few hotties over there.
All right. Go ahead, Lauren. What was that Nancy what?
Lauren Boebert, Nancy Mace.
Not Nancy Drew, right?
Nancy
Okay.
Mace. And AOC. They said all 3 of them were, at 10 o'clock. 2 o'clock,
Mace is okay. That Boebert, though?
Yeah.
Yeah.
She was hanging with the Kid Rock the other night, man. Looking like she was fangirling.
That Boebert's coming like a
He's going to come out with the song. I told her that I was a cowboy, baby.
It's coming like young Sarah Palin with
knocking
the glasses.
them boots with the House and the Senate.
She's 38 years old.
Hold on. What the hell was I talking about?
Aliens, UFOs, and then...
Oh, yeah. An official lady. You're the one who brought up Sarah Huckabee Sanders, the one with the big mouth. You got me off track, buddy. It's not my fault. I didn't do that. The whole point coming back, some office of intelligence or whatever the hell they are, golly, I need to watch more. I can't watch the news, though. Like, you're the news guy. You should be helping me out. I watch sports and like to hang out with people and watch more sports and gamble and have fun. But whoever this like lady is who's in charge of something, she said that she's going to come out and she says there's 2 shooters in the JFK thing, she thinks. Remember that? Remember we were told there was 1? There's like 2 shooters. And then she came out and they said they're going to drop all the evidence about the aliens. But she said they're not from another world. You know what she said? They're interdimensional beings. Like, how quantum mechanics says that you can be in 2 places in 2 dimensions at one time.
Like that show, Quantum Leap. Okay.
Oh, dude, Quantum Leap. That little dude was hilarious. He'd always come up in another body. He was the first T on television because one time I saw him when he came up as a woman. Did you see that one? And they show her as a woman and they show her as the man?
Yeah, I used to watch it. NBC action.
Went down this. Oh, yeah, but if we find out we got like interdimensional beings, are we going to be freaking out? Or are we going to be chilling? Is everybody going to start doing ayahuasca and like manifesting? Or do you think business goes on as usual?
Business goes on. They'll hit a little ayahuasca though.
And by the way, can I tell you something? Like, how come this isn't bigger news? I didn't know all this stuff has happened. They said this happened last week. Like, this old news. Some dude just said old news, John. Well, thanks, buddy. Like, well, go watch your news then. No. Thank you for listening to Hortonwood. I'm done. Breakage?
No, you're good. I took care of it. Nope. You got about another minute or so.
Love
Go
it.
for
I love it. But yeah, some official is going to like let us know who really, like, do they know who killed Kennedy? They just going to like slow leak this joint? Like, come on, man. If you're going to declassify something, let me know. Like, I want it right now. I also want to know about them aliens, bro. Damn, now I got another text says, I told you we've been living on a flat earth, John, for years.
Is that how the text sounded?
I think so. Well, that's not a really, really, really good one. What do you think?
Oh, what about the earth being flat?
No, just about like.
I'm with you though. If they're gonna declassify or classify, you gotta let you know down. But that's not how the government works, John. They leave you, a little tease action.
They just like a strip club that has pasties and all that stuff now, huh? Kind of like the Gold Club today. You know what is shocking? The other day I was going out to D-Bat, a little place where you hit baseballs. And on the way I
think
drive
you need
by
to let us know what D-Bat was. Thank you.
Yeah. It's a place where you hit baseballs, 3 bat machines, da. On the way I was passing, right there was that White Station and Summer where the Gold Club is.
Yeah, right there on the corner.
Bro, it was a Friday, so payday. But it was like probably 2:30. That joint was packed. I mean, I didn't go in. I just noticed the parking lot, and I was like, damn.
They're employees, John. That's all.
No, dude. No. They don't have 150 employees in there. They had that many. But it was also like the fact that it was day. Hey, day strippers need money too, don't they?
No, that's when rich people go, right?
No.
Yep, in the daytime. So you can't be seen. You have all the VIP access. Then once, the common folk come in, you get on out of there about 4 o'clock.
So it's more kind of like you have regulars. So you're like an OG stripper and you got your regulars. Like you've been bartending for like 20 years
She
at
knows
one place.
Mr. Bob is coming in.
Regulars.
Yep, at 2:30, Mr. Bob is coming.
Like my girl Sharon over at the Half Shell. She's got her regulars. I think she probably makes a real good lot. I mean, she makes a lot of money, I'm sure, at the Half Shell because she's very, very nice, very good at her job.
Ate me a little half shell last night.
Very pretty. I'm just telling you, man. Could you imagine the amount of money that she would have made over at the club, though? Lord. Damn it, we betting tonight? Are you betting tonight?
No, I had a bad night last night.
The Vols upset me the other night against Kentucky. I do have one little bitty play, and it's the Mavericks. They are a 1.5-point dog at home, and I'm not taking them. I'm taking the Heat. They fought the other night against OKC, came up a little bit short. But, dude, man, come on, man. Dallas, you beat the Warriors. The Warriors had a chance to take the lead with 50 seconds in the game and passed up a layup to shoot a 3. Like, that's just stupid basketball. They gave that one to you, just like you gave Luka away for nothing and Anthony Davis. So I'm rocking with the Heat. By the way, you like Jimmy Buckets with the Warriors?
Yeah.
We'll talk more about it. Tomorrow's Friday. Hope y'all have a wonderful
Valentine's Day, John.
Don't forget the elephant turds. Elephant turds for those you don't like. It is my
Jets have
time.
decided they're moving
I'm
on.
going to get out of
Rodgers,
here.
The team announcing today they told the veteran quarterback that he's not in their future plans. The 10-time Pro Bowler tore his Achilles in his debut back in 2023, and he went 5-12 in his return this past season. The Four Nations face-off, that'll resume tonight in Montreal when the U.S. takes on Finland. Canada leads the competition with 2 points after